When I was 16, I ran away from home and I was homeless for about 6 to 7 years. I traveled around a lot of couch surfing. I ended up in Portland, Oregon, where I discovered what living off the land and natural products.
Welcome to Growth Sparks, the podcast for health and wellness entrepreneurs and practitioners. Here we dive into founder stories, strategies, and innovations that shape the industry. I'm your host, Riza Javellana, and today I'm happy to have with me Chanell Solace of Cosheao. Welcome, Chanell.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Chanell, tell us about your background and what led you to develop Cosheao.
Well, when I was 16, I ran away from home and I was homeless for about 6 to 7 years, from the age 16 to 22. I traveled around a lot of couch surfing. I ended up in Portland, Oregon, where I discovered what living off the land and natural products and what people call the hippie life was all about. And I started doing a lot of activism and just learning about how to live off the land and how to respect nature. And I just fell in love with that. I think that's what kept me going through those hard times of just self destruction, not knowing where you're going to go the next day or what you're going to eat the next day. So as I traveled around, I met a acupuncturist who helped me with my asthma. And by that, he did acupuncture. And at the end, he would ask me to drink this tea. And it was my first experience. So it was a little weird. It felt like he just went in his backyard and picked off some like tree bark and pulled some grass and dirt out of the backyard and put it in a little baggie and said, "Here, drink this tea." I was skeptical of it because I'd never seen anything like that before, so I didn't drink it. But it got my curiosity going. And from there, I started learning about natural remedies and using those sorts of things when I did fall ill or have a cut or something like that. During those times, I would go to the library or go to a bookstore, Pal's bookstore, actually, and would read books. I would read books about herbs, or I would read books about different types of trees, just things that I was interested in. And then I'd also read a lot of books about the Beat Generation, Jack Kerouac, things like that. And that just sparked my interest in learning and growing and also keeping myself somewhat out of trouble. It kept me grounded, I guess you could say, in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then I ended up in Hawaii later on in life. And that was just more of a spiritual journey there. I learned a lot and I had some things happen on that island. And to move past that, my mindset, I guess, just flipped at some point to where I was like, okay, I got to get myself together or I'm not going to be alive. I was lucky to be alive even at that point. So me just being here on this podcast I shouldn't be here. Had some sort of a guardian angel or something looking over me. But yeah, Hawaii was my mindset change. And a gentleman hired me. I had dreads, little yellow spaghetti strap dress on, no shoes. Came in at Waikoloa Beach Grill in Hawaii on the Kona side. And he said, "I can't hire you." He didn't say he wasn't hiring. He said, "I can't hire you because of my hair." So he gave me some hope saying he wasn't hiring. So I cut my hair off. I cut the hair off. I went back and you could tell that he was pretty surprised. But he bought me shoes, a uniform, and let me take some shifts until I made enough money to buy an airplane ticket back to Portland to get myself together.
Wow. And I believe that it's that experience growing up, the resilience, having to take care of yourself that is fueling your growth today.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What made you survive and the tenacity that you got from there allows you to do the hard things these days.
I feel like it's funny, the survival mode you're in when you're homeless, and then the survival mode that you're in when you're building businesses.
Exactly. I'm a new entrepreneur and I'm having to find the courage to build something. But you developed that early on in your life.
Yeah.
It was really curiosity from your own experience that led you to develop your own natural products.
Yes, exactly. And then after having children, my daughter developed skin issues. She was very just sensitive to everything, laundry detergent, body soaps. It made me start thinking about what I was putting on all of our bodies, with the soaps. And my husband was shaving with Dr. Bronner's one day, and I was like, oh, I could probably make my own soap. And that was during COVID. And I was homeschooling my kids at the time. So we were at Barnes and Noble. I picked out a book of soap making, and it looked like baking a cake, but it was
Mm.
not. It was not. There's been since a long educational journey since I picked up that book.
I imagine you experimented with these recipes and found the right combinations. And how do you actually determine the right ingredients? Because you're very strict about your protocols, I believe.
Yeah, I am. So at the beginning of my journey, when I was looking through that book, they used a lot of like palm oil, and that's really dangerous to the environment as far as hurting animal habitat. The orangutans live in those palms, and cutting those down destroys their habitat. Now they're on a dangerous list. And I started going through all those things. Like, I don't want to use ingredients that destroy habitats. I want to be able to use my soap in a river, in the ocean, whatnot. So that started my curiosity of looking for ingredients that weren't harmful, that you could basically eat. I mean, a lot of the stuff I put in my soap, cooking oil. I don't know if you want to eat shea butter, but yeah, I started really educating myself about what each type of those butters or oils would do for your skin, and then started just putting my own recipes together and how they would heal certain types of eczema or acne and things like that.
Can you tell me about an instance where customer feedback made you really proud of the work that you're doing?
Oh, yeah. Actually, this just recently, I joined a networking group to help launch up Cosheao and get the word out. And there's a young lady that's just allergic to everything. She's one of those people that has to have her barcode reader out and read all the ingredients. And she had some skin issues of just kind of blistering because of the products that were supposed to be safe, but still left her with irritation. And since using my products, she hasn't experienced those blisters, and she's really happy. And I am too. That just made me so excited because that's the whole reason I started doing this, to heal skin, not make it more irritated and strip those oils. So it was very exciting to hear.
Yeah. And I guess the main proof is that, as you said, your kids had skin issues, and what was effective for them is what you are putting out into the world today.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of natural soaps out there. What do you think makes your products really different? Is it the ingredients, the process? What are you really proud of?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a combination of my story and the symbolization of my story with the soap and how I've incorporated symbolism of like eucalyptus trees I lived around, and I incorporated that into my soap for healing benefits. And the fact that it's vegan, I don't use animal products in it. There's no fragrance. And I know there are a lot of other companies out there doing the same thing, but I feel like I do mine with more intention than anything else.
What was harder than you expected when you started this business?
Well, just making the soap in general, the chemistry behind making soap, not all oils work together. So the whole philosophy of me thinking it was going to be like baking a cake was not the fact at all. There were a lot of meltdowns in the kitchen because I couldn't get the soap to solidify. So I think making the soap in general was the hardest part.
It's amazing. So now you've developed the expertise. And how many different varieties of soap do you have?
I have 5 different varieties right now.
What keeps you going during the hard days? I imagine it's not all beautiful, happy days.
No, it's not. Well, my kids, actually, they helped me build up Cosheao during COVID when everybody was at home. So they saw me start the business, and they've been helping me support it. They'll put boxes together or wrap some of the soap or cut it or whatnot. Just them seeing me grow and showing them that you can build something. I think that's like 99% of what keeps me going on those hard days.
That's wonderful. And showing them you can build something from your own home, right? You don't have an outside factory.
Right. Yeah.
As you get bigger, I'm sure you will outgrow your own home for manufacturing. So, how do people get to know your products? Is it mainly through online advertising or do you do in person marketing? How do people get to know about Cosheao?
It's a little bit of both. I do online marketing and I also do events. I have a wellness event coming up in the next few weeks that I'll be part of, which is pretty exciting, and other local events. And that's just what I'm doing for now to get the word out.
And do you have retail distribution at this point?
In the last 3 weeks, actually, I finally got boxes for my soap. So usually it was just wrapped and I would put them in a big box or in a bag. So I got my single individual boxes recently. And since then, one of my friends put my boxes in her salon. And I went on a consignment at a furniture store with another one of my networking buddies. And I am also in a massage studio as well.
It's wonderful. So, that's a great start to the year.
Yeah, super exciting.
Tell me about the toughest part of getting the products into the hands of your ideal customers.
A lot of hoops. The certifications you got to get. Now, and it depends on who you're talking about when you're looking at customers. I do have my in-house close customers where I get through my networking events and then they just keep coming back through my website. But then there's also that challenge of when you want to grow. So I like to see my soaps in Whole Foods one day or another natural grocery store. But there's hoops you got to go through your certifications and just get bypassing all the gatekeepers in order to get there. So I'm going to try that again. That's 2026 goal is to maybe get into a store. Not maybe, but I'm going to get into a store.
You will. You will.
Yeah, that's the goal. And that's been the hardest part is getting through the gatekeepers.
What do you see are the trends out there in the market?
But I would say the whole health and wellness, that's becoming it has been for a couple years now, really been an intentional thing that people are doing. And that's the trend, the bandwagon that I'm going on as well. What you put on your body, staying healthy, things like that.
And how do you see your business evolve in the next 3 to 6 months? Are there priority areas that you're focusing on right now?
So yeah, I'm definitely 10xing my business in 2026.
Love
And
that.
that's part of the growth plan, being on Instagram. I have a new advertising company that's going to help me build that Instagram up more, getting my name out there, doing more local events and maybe even some speaking opportunities about the story and the growth and entrepreneurship.
Because you have a very interesting story coming from homelessness to building this business. That's certainly very inspiring. And where can people learn more about your products?
On my website at cosheao.com, all my ingredients are listed there. Everything you need to know is there.
Any last words to our audience who are curious about natural products?
Just do your research when you're buying stuff. Labels are misleading sometimes, so really pay attention to the ingredients and what you're putting in and on your body.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, Chanel, and with your experience and determination, you definitely will be able to grow your business. Thank you for your time today.
No, thank you so much for having me. Have an awesome day.